Welcome back to California Cooking. The countdown to Thanksgiving is on, so I'm giving you menu ideas that are sure crowd pleasers. For a festive appetizer, I have a butternut squash crostini. For sides, try my cream corn souffle or next level cheesy truffle mashed potatoes. And for dessert, a no-bake pumpkin ice cream pie. Let's start with a side that I'll be adding to my Thanksgiving table this year. Here's how you make creamed corn souffle. We're talking Thanksgiving sides today, and this one I have never made a creamed corn souffle, and it becomes a souffle because there's egg in it. And I just think I love anything creamy and cheesy and souffle. So I thought, okay, corn souffle could be something different to put on the table this year. So the first thing you gotta do is you get some fresh corn. And this time of year, corn is smaller, but it's still sweet. So I tasted it and I was worried that maybe it wouldn't be sweet. It's still really sweet. And then to bump up the creaminess and the sweet factor, I got 1 can of creamed corn. So that's gonna go in too. So the way I like to chop my corn without it going all over the kitchen is just cut one side off, and then you've got a flat side and you just keep turning it. Sharp knife in your kernel, and then what I do, just to get any juice and any bit that I didn't get, just into the bowl. So I've got about 5 ears of corn. I already did a few. Yeah, corn is one of those things we never had on our Thanksgiving table growing up, but I kind of like the idea. I'm gonna chop up some shallots. You could go onion too, but I just think shallots have a little bit of a sweeter taste. They're a little more mild, which I think will be nice. And we're gonna saute these up on the stove, but a pretty small dice. I would say 2 to 3 shallots would be plenty. Okay, shallots chopped. I've got my trusty pot where I make so many things, but in here we've got the shallot with about a tablespoon or 2 of butter, some salt, pepper. So you wanna cook the shallot until it's nice and soft. And then into that we'll add our corn, about 5 stalks, but they were small. They were on the small side. I might add just a little bit more butter because it is a holiday after all. While this cooks, I'm gonna add some ham to our corn souffle. And obviously, if you have vegetarians, you can completely omit the ham and it'll be delicious. But this is just thinly sliced Black Forest ham from the deli. And I'm just gonna cut it up into little chunks. I just think it'll be a nice smoky, salty kind of a flavor to add. And corn and ham they work together. So that's gonna go in. And this only needs maybe 2 or 3 minutes. You don't wanna cook the corn until it's soft because it's gonna bake in the oven. So our corn, just to kind of take the water out of the corn kernels, you wanna cook it on a pretty high heat for a couple of minutes. And then our can of creamed corn, which is kind of a cheat because this automatically makes things much creamier. We've got the milk and the heavy cream going in. So 2/3 cup heavy cream, 2/3 cup of milk. Let me let that just cook for a minute. Get it to a little bubble. While that's bubbling, souffle pan, dish, baking dish. What I wanna do so that our souffle doesn't stick, I'm gonna take butter. It's always easier when you just leave the wrapper on and just take it around your souffle dish or your baking pan, so your corn doesn't stick. This has come to a little bubble. We're gonna turn it off. 3 eggs. We're gonna beat the eggs. The thing you don't wanna have happen is your eggs turn to scrambled eggs in here. So what you probably wanna do is temper your eggs, which means you bring up the temperature of this so you can add it into this. So I'm gonna add just a spoonful into here to bring up the temperature of the eggs so they're not cold. And then quickly keep it moving. There you go. Now this is going to help it become a souffle. It's gonna puff up because of the eggs. And you wanna turn the heat off at this point. To this, lots of fresh, yummy, real Parmesan cheese. You can buy it already grated, but get the good stuff, the real stuff. I would add as much as you want until your arm gets tired. There's no wrong amount here. And then our ham. I probably have at least 6 slices of ham, I would say. Oh my gosh, yum. And that's it. Into I can't believe that fit. When you bake a souffle, you want it to cook gently. So I have the oven on 350. We're gonna cook it in a water bath. What you wanna do, because inevitably if you put the water in now and you put it into the oven, the water would get into your souffle. So what we're gonna do to avoid that, open up your oven, pull this out, put your bigger baking dish down, boil up some hot water in your kettle, and we're gonna do a bain-marie or a water bath. Enough water, you don't want it to be higher than the souffle dish. You place it in gently. Okay, bye-bye. So our souffle has been in the oven about 40 minutes, and it is gorgeous. It puffed up, it got brown. Look at that. Look, I didn't even have to broil on top. It just browned and got all bubbly. That is exactly what I want to see on the Thanksgiving table. Coming up, more menu ideas for your Thanksgiving table. I've got a festive appetizer with butternut squash, an elevated version of mashed potatoes, and a yummy dessert that you can make with the kids. That's coming up next. It's always a good idea to have small bites for your family and friends to nibble on when they arrive, so I love serving up a crostini. It's so easy and perfect for Thanksgiving. I added some of my favorite flavors of the season. Take a look. Getting you ready for Thanksgiving, although we're gonna start with the snacks. And I do think snacks get overlooked on Thanksgiving with good reason, because you're busy making all the other stuff. Who has time to make the snacks? But I do think a couple of light little bites will keep everybody happy, and it won't make you feel as pressured to get Thanksgiving dinner on the table. I'm gonna make a butternut squash crostini. So I'm gonna take my baguette, toast it in the oven, put a little ricotta cheese, and some of this yummy, softened, browned butternut squash on top. And I think it'll be so fall and perfect little snack for Thanksgiving when you're watching some football. So some olive oil on top. We're gonna hit it with some salt. Easy, easy. You got all your Thanksgiving spices out, so I've got some nutmeg. We don't wanna make it sweet, but it does take that kind of fall flavor when you use nutmeg and allspice, things like that. And also I'm gonna take some fresh thyme, which you probably have laying around for Thanksgiving, and just put that on top, stems and all, and some pepper. And that's it. This goes in the oven, 425. Because it's so small, these pieces, I think it'll take 15, 20 minutes maybe. So the perfect thing to top our butternut squash crostini is a balsamic vinegar glaze. Look at that, which I always thought sounded really fancy and complicated. It's not. I just did it in 5 minutes. So in my pot, I took some balsamic vinegar and try to get some good balsamic vinegar. All you do, I put maybe, I don't know, 1/4 cup in here with a tablespoon, maybe 2 of brown sugar. I let it gently kind of bubble away for a couple of minutes, and look, it's almost like chocolate sauce. And I made a balsamic glaze, so I'm gonna drizzle that on top of our butternut squash, and it's gonna be really yummy. For our crostini, you gotta have bread. And this is just a baguette, and I cut it into these kind of at the at an angle so you can get more surface area to put yummy toppings. And then I'm gonna put some olive oil and pop them in the oven just to get them nice and crisp and brown. Then you just put them on a baking sheet, olive oil. Another thing I do, just a little bit of salt, give it flavor. You want every layer to have flavor. Okay, so this goes in the oven with our butternut squash. Time to make our butternut squash crostini. This is exactly how you want the crostini bread. Nice and crispy and crunchy. So on top of that, I have some lovely ricotta cheese. It's creamy. It's the perfect little bed for your butternut squash. Okay, now, show you what we do. Take a few little pieces. Top, take a little sprig of thyme because it's Thanksgiving and you want things to be cute. And then our balsamic glaze. Sprinkle of salt. Lovely. Put it on a cute board and we'll keep making them. Yummy. That is good. I think your guests are gonna like that one.
From a really delicious appetizer to my next level mashed potatoes, here's my cheesy truffle butter mashed potatoes.
Thanksgiving is not Thanksgiving without mashed potatoes. But I do think sometimes it's nice to put a little twist on an old classic. So Yukon Gold are the potatoes that I like to use for mashed potatoes. So these are Yukon Gold, peeled, but here's what we're gonna do. Some truffle butter, white truffle butter. Now this little tube here is $12. So this is a special because it's real truffles. I got it at Gelson's. I think Bristol Farms sells it too. And it's a special ingredient because if you love the smell and the taste of truffles, as soon as you open it, you can smell it. So that's gonna permeate through our mashed potatoes. Some sour cream, some Gruyere cheese, maybe some chives. All right, to make our mashed potatoes, I've got some water boiling over there in a big pot. And you're just gonna cut up your potatoes as you would. You all know how to make mashed potatoes. Potatoes, try to get them as even as you can. Big pot of boiling water, lots of salt. As much as you would put, maybe even more, into pasta, because this is your chance to season your potatoes. And potatoes need a ton of salt to get flavor going, so. In go your potatoes, and you're gonna just let them boil away until they're fork tender. Potatoes are out, and what I like to do after I drain the potatoes is put them back in the hot pot, and then all the water evaporates because you don't want watery mashed potatoes. So into the mixer, they go. To the potatoes, I've warmed up some half and half. I just think the warm, it's something my grandmother did. She always warmed it up. Sour cream. I don't know, just keep adding heaps of it. A couple of cracks of black pepper. Some people don't like black pepper in their mashed potatoes because they like them to remain white, but I kind of like the black flecks of pepper. Some salt, I'm gonna need some salt. There we go. I don't like lumps, so I got most of the lumps out. Good, but better when you add the truffle butter. So I'm gonna start with half because I don't wanna be overwhelmed by the truffle butter. All right. While that's mixing, Gruyere cheese. A few handfuls. Okay, you don't wanna overmix, so. Oh, look at these. Look at how fluffy. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't even speak because truffle butter makes everything so good. Some chives going in. One more quick whip. Get that incorporated. And we're done. Look at these mashed potatoes. Look at this. Luscious, cheesy. We're not done. Baking dish. You could butter the baking dish, but I'm just gonna skip that step. Pour in your potatoes. A little dot of butter here and there on top. It's Thanksgiving after all, so you gotta, some decadence is warranted. Sprinkling of Gruyere on top. I'm gonna pop them in a 425-degree oven just to brown it a little, get it to puff up, but it's already cooked and done. This is what's great about a dish like this. You make it the day before, and then Thanksgiving Day, you just pop it in the oven for a couple of minutes and your mashed potatoes are done. I cannot wait to dig into these white truffle, Gruyere, chive mashed potatoes, and just putting them in the oven for a couple of minutes, they get nice and brown and the butter melts on top. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going on the table right now.
Coming up, there's always room for dessert. Levi and I are making a pumpkin ice cream pie. That's coming up next. Here is an easy, no-bake dessert. Don't even need to turn on the oven that you can make with the kids.
Hi. Hi, Levi.
Hi.
Do you know what we're gonna make today?
Pumpkin pie.
We're gonna make a pumpkin ice cream pie. So we're combining your favorite thing, which is ice cream, with some pumpkin puree.
And before we do it, I bite.
You've already eaten everything on here. But here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna give these the good old wrestling move there with the graham crackers. So first, just like you would with a cheesecake, we're gonna do a graham cracker crust. So we have graham crackers that Levi
Are we
is.
making crust?
Yeah. So let's throw in, I think you've managed to really do a number on those. Oh yeah.
It's crust.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's perfect. All right, I'm gonna pour them in. Oh yeah, we don't even need a food processor. You're so good. Now, in the bottom, by the way, I forgot to mention, I have about 1/4 cup of, you could use any nut you want. I'm gonna use a walnut. And I just toasted them on the stove for a couple of minutes just to get them a little brown and toasty, because this is a no-bake pie. Butter, melted, about 4 tablespoons. Pinch of salt, that's it. This is the crust. You ready? Hold. Hold.
That's good crust that I made.
That is really good crust.
Look.
Our graham cracker crumbs are nice and
Sand.
feel it. Look, it's like sand. It's like wet sand. So we're gonna pour it in here. Take a little measuring cup. And here's what you wanna do, Levi. So you wanna
Smoothen it.
smooth it out, and that will help you get an edge. Okay, now I'm gonna take this and make,
Smush down.
yeah, and you wanna get a rim going all the way around.
Okay, I'll get a win.
Okay. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. You should probably let this chill at least an hour, maybe overnight if you can, if you have the time. What do you think, Levi? Does it look good?
Let's do it overnight.
Okay. That means you should go to bed.
Now,
Vanilla bean ice cream.
thank you
Going
for
in.
ordering two.
You're welcome. To that pumpkin puree, I'm gonna try, because I've never made this before, I'm gonna try half this can and
Pumpkin
see
guts.
that if pumpkin guts, exactly. Pumpkin pie spice, which pumpkin pie spice is cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. Okay, Levi, here we go. We're whipping our ice cream. Basically what we've done is made pumpkin ice cream. So I'm gonna give you a taste. Let me know what you think.
Yum. I like it.
Now what we do is our pie crust has been in the fridge. It has hardened up. Here's what we're gonna do. Are you ready for this? This is exciting. Look, Levi. flavors of fall, this has to go back into the freezer. Okay, bye-bye. I would say an hour. Okay, you get a job. You are my salted caramel sauce drizzler. Okay, but before I'm gonna go get the pie, our pumpkin ice cream pie out of the freezer. Can you say pie? Pie, pie.
Pie.
It hardened up. Oh boy. Now Levi, look at this trick. Right? Our crust, it worked. I'm always excited and surprised when it works. You want to drizzle? You ready to drizzle? You got to do a pretty design. You ready?
I don't know how to make designs.
Just go back and forth.
I'm gonna make scribble scrabble.
Yeah! Whoa! Okay. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Should we try it? Let's take a bite. Good drizzle. What do you think?
Love it.
I love you. Thanks, Levi.
For the recipes to all these delicious Thanksgiving dishes, follow us on Instagram. Well, that does it for us, but I hope you can join us for a very special Friendsgiving episode on Thanksgiving Day at 9 a.m. We'll see you then.